Why did you decide to send this letter? You know, what instigated it?
Which one?
Well, the one. Let's first start off with the one that you sent to the governor and Barber. You know, we were just talking about honey and vinegar. You decided to, you know,
well,
be a little sweeter on the side.
Well, I mean, I kind of. We don't feel like we have been taking a vinegar approach at all. I mean, we were very conscious to be professional the other night when they came. We did not stand in the door, as they alluded, and make a big spectacle. We tried to find them and handle it professionally. And that's what we're asking them now. I mean, we believe this can be addressed through the means set up by the Constitution of the state of Alabama, which is in the courts, and that's where it is, without putting 1,000 or so people and families and children in the welfare line. You know, we just think it can be done. We ask that the state handle it civilly. If the governor and Mr. Barber would do that, that would be what we'd like to see. If not, then we ask the Attorney General to step forward and represent the state in a civil manner to address this. The people of our community, whether they're for country crossing or not, are for a civil resolution to this issue.
Do you, I guess, then why did you decide to then go a step further and address the Attorney General?
Well, because in our opinion, as we've stated many times, the Attorney General is the chief law enforcement official in the state of Alabama. It's our opinion that really he is the one that has responsibility here, that Mr. Barber doesn't have, you know, the authority that he seems to have. That's, again, is an issue for courts. But with that position, we are asking him to step in and, as the chief law enforcement official, represent the state in a civil manner.
Have you heard back from either of them?
No.
Do you anticipate?
Well, I mean, we would like to hear back from any of them. I mean, this is something that really is impacting our community, and you know, needs to be addressed. And we just hope someone will think about the lives involved here. This is not a game. This is not a public relations issue. This is impacting the lives of 1,000 or more people in our community.
Have you spoken at all publicly with District Attorney Doug Valeska?
No.
Do you feel like you need the Attorney General's involvement, and what do you foresee things happening if you don't?
We need someone at the state level to realize the impact this is having on our community and on the state. I mean, this has now been covered all over the nation, and it is not good for our state. It needs to be handled civilly. It needs to be handled in a professional manner. Because it's creating an issue for, certainly in our area specifically, but for the state around the country. It is not the image that I feel like my state needs to have. You know, there are suits being filed, and there's going to be a thorough investigation of whether this is legal as we believe or illegal as Mr. Barber believes, and we just think that process ought to go through, let the thing operate, let the people be employed, and we'll end up with a resolution.
Playing the devil's advocate a little bit.
You just did. You called me vinegar.
You'll never forget that too. We've been talking about jobs and how this is going to bring jobs. If you were to look at any other type of statute, you'd say you're balancing, you know, illegal, legal, throw out, you know, any type of illegal activity. Why do you think it should keep running? It's, for example, if someone was saying, you know, I'm going to buy drugs, but we've made a law that makes it legal, and then we've decided that it's...
Well, we can't make a law that makes drugs legal. I mean, certainly if the state of Alabama passed a constitutional amendment saying drugs were legal, then they'd be legal. You know, there was a time, long before mine and your time, when alcohol wasn't legal in the state of Alabama. Prohibition was in place. That was changed. It was changed with laws. It was changed somewhat in a civil manner. And now the state of Alabama is in the alcohol business. So, you know, things can change. Things have changed. Our county has legalized bingo, charitable bingo, in Houston County. There's not any question about that. So, you know, to compare it to prostitution and drugs, as some have, I think is just an extreme stretch.
Chairman, I've heard you say dozens of times the machines are legal, our position is legal, our regulations are legal. If everything y'all done is legal, then why don't you just open the doors and let them come in the other night?
Because they would go in there and tear out millions of dollars worth of equipment.
Not if they're not legal, they
No,
can't
no,
take
no,
them
no,
if
no,
they're
no,
not legal.
Make no mistake about it. They were gonna take them and determine later if they were legal. They weren't gonna go down there and determine if they were legal. And
I thought they had to do that before
uh,
they could get the search warrant.
They had people go down there, and play the games, and in their opinion, have made a unilateral decision that they're illegal. The raid that was coming the other night was to take every machine out of there and determine later if they're legal. That's our issue. Let's determine what's legal before we put 1,000 people out of work.
Chairman, your letter to the governor and to Mr. Barber alluded to, well, you said there was an attachment of 50 names of
And
co-signatures
you're
to
really
your
hung
letter.
up on that too, I know.
Yes, sir, I've requested twice a list
Some
of the
of-
letters and you've not responded. So
No.
when are you gonna release it?
I'm not going to. There are people on there who asked not to be publicly known, but they were fine expressing as part of this, that they feel very strongly this needs to be handled in a civil manner. You know, if that's open items, an open document violation, then put me in jail. This is too important for us to put people that don't want their name out there.
Could you just kind of give me a
But I'll be glad to give you a significant number of those names. Be glad to provide you with that.
could you just kind of give me a quick little timeline of how sending the letters kind of came about? Was it kind of like a meeting of the minds, and then y'all decided let's just?
Honestly, it just got to the point that this had gotten out of hand. I mean, you know, when I saw my picture on the front page of the Mobile Press Register with signs behind it that said impeach Governor Riley, you know, I mean, that it's just gone too far. When the things happen in California that happened, this has gotten way out of hand. It needs to be handled civilly. It needs to be resolved. It needs to be put on the ballot and let the people of the state of Alabama make the decision. That's where it really needs to be resolved. And I implore our legislators to do that in this session immediately. Let's get it on there in June and let's resolve this issue that's tearing apart the state of Alabama.
You're making the trip up to the legislative session tomorrow. Do you foresee a possibility, if it making it to a ballot, and actually the people of Alabama ending up putting 1,000 workers on the streets on welfare?
Well, certainly. If the people of Alabama don't want electronic charitable bingo in our state, then certainly we will abide by that. If a court rules that what we're doing down at Houston, down at Country Crossing, what we've authorized at Country Crossing is illegal, we'll abide by that. We have said time and time again that we believe what we're doing is legal. We're only going to make things happen here in Houston County that are legal. If something is proven, or the Supreme Court or citizens of this state decide that what's going on down there is not legal, we'll revoke the permit and we'll go on about our business. And then we'll still have 1,000 people out of work, but you know, it'll be in a legal manner rather than just, you know, some other non-productive manner.
Well,
I'm on a totally different topic.
Anything else
I was
about?
going to go to
Okay.
a different one as well.
Okay,
Good.
go ahead, Patrick.